Hey guys, welcome to GROUNDSHAKER for Season 2. This build will give you everything you loved about my original GROUNDSHAKER build, as well as all of the similar builds that came after it, like Plagueshifter, Poison Slide, Subterranean Trampleslide, and any other names that were used for it. Now this is intended to go with vampiric powers, but it should be almost the exact same if you're playing on Eternal. Since it's a new season, I'm going to show you the build without any uniques, but don't worry, I put all the uniques that are useful down in the info below. So let's read the info I listed below so you can get an idea of how the build works. So Aspect of Trampled Earth allows Trample to cast 6 landslides per use. Subterranean Aspect also causes our Poison Creeper to summon landslides in a circle around us. Aspect of Aftershock doubles all of those landslides. Symbiotic reduces the cooldown of Bulwark and Trample so that we can spam them constantly. We want to constantly use our Storm Strike, or Claw if we're using the Grey Staff of the Crone. This is going to be the primary way we get our resets. And as I listed here, Controller is recommended for this build. When you get to the end game, come down here and read about the uniques, but I'm going to skip that and we're going to go up to the top. So like I said below, Storm Strike is what you're going to use to get all of your resets. That could be resets on Poison Creeper, resets on Bulwark, resets on Trample, and it's also going to be activating your Hectic. You'll want to activate Earth and Bulwark and then trample into the group of enemies. Once you get there, you're going to use Poison Creeper, and if you need to, you can use Petrify for dangerous situations. After that, you're going to spam Storm Strike to get your resets and then use the rest of your abilities when they come off cooldown. Your main sources of damage come from Trample and Poison Creeper, so make sure you're using them constantly. For the Spirit Boons, we're using Wariness, Swooping Attacks, Iron Feather, Pack Leader, and Calm Before the Storm. Feel free to use Obsidian Slam as well. I decided to go with Calm Before the Storm because Season 2 is a very boss-heavy season, and without enemies to kill, Obsidian Slam becomes useless. In the endgame, you're going to throw some uniques on, but I'm going to show you without uniques first. First up on the helmet, we've got Aspect of Mending Stone. On the chest piece, we've got Aspect of Might. On the gloves, we've got Aspect of Trampled Earth. On the pants, we've got Aspect of Disobedience. On the boots, we're putting Symbiotic Aspect. On our one-handed weapon, we're putting Accelerating Aspect. On our amulet, we're going with Aspect of Retaliation. On ring 1, we're going with Aspect of Aftershock. On ring 2, we're going with Subterranean Aspect. And on our offhand, we're going with Edgemaster's Aspect. And for the stats, on the helmet, we're going with Maximum Life, Cooldown Reduction, Basic Skill Attack Speed, and Lucky Hit Chance while you have a barrier. On the chest armor, we're going with Maximum Life, Ranks of Earth and Bulwark, damage reduction while fortified, and damage reduction from enemies that are poisoned. On the gloves, we're going with attack speed, critical strike chance, ranks of landslide, and lucky hit chance. For the pants, we've got maximum life, damage reduction while fortified, damage reduction from enemies that are poisoned, and damage reduction of any kind. On our boots, we've got movement speed, total armor while in werewolf form, willpower, and all stats. Now the total armor while in werewolf was intended for with the Great Staff of the Crone, so if you don't have Great Staff of the Crone, feel free to go with damage reduction while injured instead. For a weapon, we're doing core skill damage, all stats, willpower, and damage to crowd-controlled enemies. We'll be balancing our damage to crowd-controlled enemies based off of the legendary node in our Paragon board. For our amulet, we're going with ranks to envenom, ranks to resonance, damage reduction while fortified, and damage reduction while enemies are poisoned. There are a lot of good stats here, so if you see something that you found somewhere else in the build, it's probably good. For example, cooldown reduction. You'll want your cooldown reduction to be in just the right spot so that you get the least amount of resets needed to reset your skills. For our rings, we're doing critical strike chance, maximum life, damage to crowd-controlled enemies, and lucky hit chance. And for our offhand, we're going with damage reduction while fortified, damage reduction from enemies that are poisoned, critical strike chance, and cooldown reduction. For our gems, we're going to go with emerald on the weapon, ruby on the armor, and diamond on the jewelry. Feel free to change the diamonds to skulls if you find out that you have enough resistances for what you're doing. For our vampiric powers, we're going to use resilience, ravenous, hectic, undying, and moonrise. These first two put our survivability through the roof. These second two increase our attack speed a lot so we can get resets faster. And this third one is giving us cooldown reduction so we reset even faster. Now for endgame gear, we're doing the Great Staff of the Crone. When you use the Great Staff of the Crone, you're going to replace Storm Strike with Claw. You'll still leave the points in Storm Strike because you're going to be able to benefit from both of them, which means you're going to need to take 3 passives from somewhere else and put them into it. And for Claw, we're going to be doing Wild Claw. That gives us a chance to swipe a second time for more chances at a reset. So the end goal is to get a Harlequin crest for our headpiece, but you'll likely get a Vasily's Prayer and a Satiable Fury before you get that. If you happen to get those, it's worth putting them on. Also, honorable mention, Melted Heart of Selig. Assuming we'll be able to obtain these this season, this could be an added source of survivability. So Mobalytics hasn't been letting me update my build for a while, so I'll just tell you which ones we're not going to take. But as soon as I'm able to, I'll update the written guide, which you can find in my Discord at discord.gg/screamheart, or on my Mobalytics profile. My written guides are always the first place that I'll make updates, and I only make new videos for a build when I make substantial changes. These 2 points in Earth Spike are going to be put down into Innate Earth and Bulwark, and Safeguard. Pretty much everything else should be about the same. So we're taking Fierce Storm Strike, maxing out Wild Impulses, maxing out Landslide, and going to Primal Landslide, getting a couple points into Bulwark, and going innate Earthen Bulwark, grabbing Preserving Cyclone Armor, maxing out both Ancestral Fortitude and Vigilance, grabbing Brutal Poison Creeper, Savage Hurricane, Natural Trample, maxing out Stone Guard, 2 points in Safeguard, and maxing out in Venom. By the way, while I was editing the video, I remembered that people were previously confused about why you take points in Hurricane when it's not on your skill bar. Because of our Nature's Fury key passive, anytime we use Trample, it has a 30% chance to cast Hurricane as well. And if we're running the Great Staff of the Crone, our resets should be consistent enough that we can use this without putting it on our bar. However, it might be worth it, before you have Great Staff of the Crone, to take the points out of Cyclone Armor, and just run Hurricane on your skill bar. That'll free up 3 points and allow you to put those into another passive. Then for our ultimate, we're going with Petrify, and just the 1 point in Prime Petrify. Then we'll be maxing out Resonance, and Heightened Senses. Finally, our Keystone passive is Nature's Fury. If you're unfamiliar with Nature's Fury, every time we use a skill, there's a 30% chance that we're going to cast a skill of the opposite type in that category. So once we have the Great Staff of the Crone, we have 2 Storm skills every time we swipe with a basic attack, meaning we have a 2 times 30% chance to get a reset. I think I've always made pretty decent Paragon boards, but something clicked at some point, and I feel like I do them a lot better now. So I'm really excited to show you guys my new Paragon boards. So on the starter board, we're grabbing all 4 rare nodes, and we're going to put Exploit here. Then we're going to move up, and we're going to grab Heightened Malice. Here we'll grab the 2 rare nodes by our glyph, and put Tectonic here. Keep in mind that these numbers you're seeing on the screen are not accurate. Even so, Tectonic doesn't have great damage, but we're also getting that 15% lucky hit chance, which is very important. Now if we move over to the right, we're grabbing this rare node, and then getting Heightened Malice. After that, we're going to move to the right, and we're going to grab the Inner Beast board. Here we're going to grab the 4 lower rare nodes, as well as Undaunted as our glyph. Next, we're going to move down, and we're going to attach the Ancestral Guidance board. We're going to grab these 3 rare nodes, and we're putting Spirit here. Moving to the right again, we're going to attach the Earth and Devastation board, and we're going to grab the Legendary node. We'll also be grabbing these 3 rare nodes, and putting Earth and Sky here. Now we backtrack above this one, where we're simply going to grab more damage reduction while fortified. And this is on the Survival Instincts board. Keep in mind, this is a great leveling build, especially if you get a Symbiotic early on. But I also put out a Pulverize build that's going to be really good for leveling as well. So depending on what you get, pick one of those builds. You'll have your pick of the litter between Pulverize, Groundshaker, Stormclaw, Moonclaw, and whatever I update or come up with next. Spoiler alert, updated Stormclaw is coming out tomorrow, and it might shock you. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video. If you found this video helpful, drop a comment and a like, and join our Discord server. Daddy Druid out. Woo 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 woo.